The weight of exhaustion drags at my shoulders like a lead cloak as I stumble through the door of my apartment, the dim glow of a single lamp casting long shadows across the hardwood. It's March 11th, 2025, and the day's endless meetings and plastered-on smiles have hollowed me out, leaving nothing but a shell-craving silence. My keys jangle in my trembling hands as I fumble with the lock, the familiar click, a faint echo in the stillness, like a whisper I'm too tired to hear. I drop my bag by the door, the soft thud reverberating through the emptiness, a sound as lonely as I feel. The sanctuary of my empty apartment beckons, a fragile shield against the world's relentless demands, and I shuffle toward the hallway table where I'd forgotten my phone this morning in my rush to escape. The screen glows to life as I pick it up, a harsh blue light cutting through the dusk settling over the room. My thumb brushes the smooth glass, scrolling past unread emails and missed calls. Work, always work, until a notification freezes my breath. A video message from Aunt Linda. Strange. Linda never sends videos. She's the type to call with a brisk update about her garden or Uncle Tom's latest fishing trip, not this. My chest tightens, a whisper of unease crawling up my spine like a spider's delicate legs. I sink into my favorite armchair, the one Nana left me, its faded fabric still holding a faint trace of her lavender perfume. The scent usually wraps me in comfort, a tether to simpler days, but tonight it feels off, distant, like a memory I can't quite grasp. My thumb hovers over the play button, the tiny triangle, taunting me with its promise of something unknown. What could she want now? The question lingers, heavy as the silence pressing in around me, and I know, somehow, that pressing play will change everything. I press play, and the world tilts. The phone's glow bathes my face in cold light, casting jagged shadows as Diane's sharp laughter slices through the speaker, a sound I've heard 1,000 times, but never like this. It's her living room on the screen, the one with the sagging couch and the framed photos I've spent years trying to earn a place among. A place I've bled my savings to preserve, wiring money for mortgages and repairs, while my own dreams gathered dust. Mark leans into the frame, his face flushed from what must be his third glass of wine, his broad shoulders filling the space like he owns it. Our little ATM, he chuckles, the words slurring into a cruel jab that punches the air from my lungs. Tyler's voice slinks in next, my baby brother's familiar drawl twisting into something ugly. She didn't even ask what it was for, he says, and their laughter swells, filling my apartment until it bounces off the walls, a toxic tide drowning my breath. My hands shake so badly I nearly drop the phone, the smooth edges slipping against my sweaty palms, but I can't look away. Each word they speak hammers another crack into the foundation of what I thought was truth, the screen blurring as tears well up like rain on glass. I force myself to keep watching, replaying it as memories flash through my mind, dark and jagged. Diane's urgent calls about overdue bills, her voice trembling just enough to hook me. We could lose everything, Amelia. Mark showing up at my office, his shadow looming over my desk as coworkers stared, his loud demands for mortgage help shaming me into compliance. Tyler's endless string of crises, car trouble, rent, that emergency last week, each one a plea I answered with transfers from my savings, no questions asked. Their laughter rings again, Mom's voice dripping with satisfaction. She's so desperate to be the good daughter. Mark's follow-up lands like a slap. Just mentioned family obligation, and she empties her savings. The video loops, and I notice the timestamp. Yesterday, during what Diane called a small family gathering. I was too busy to attend. Too busy working extra hours to rebuild my savings after Tyler's latest sob story. Notifications flash across the top. Aunt Linda's frantic texts in real time as she filmed. Karen, are you sure about this? What if she finds out? We should delete this. But then her follow-up hits my screen. Oh God, Amelia, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send that to you. Please delete it. Too late. She did send it, and I can't unsee it. My chest tightens until each breath feels like swallowing glass, the armchair's soft fabric suddenly wrong beneath my fingers. Too normal for a moment that's shattering everything I thought I knew. I replay it again, their casual cruelty crystallizing with every loop. Diane's practiced sighs, Mark's smug grin, Tyler's mocking tone. The complete absence of love in their eyes when they say my name. The phone buzzes, Diane calling now, her contact photo smiling up at me with that same calculated warmth she uses when she needs something. My finger hovers over the answer button, years of conditioning screaming at me to pick up, to smooth it over, to keep the peace at any cost. But for the first time, I see it, the pattern, the lie. And I let it ring, the sound fading beneath the roaring in my ears. The phone's insistent buzzing cuts through the silence of my apartment, Diane's name flashing on the screen as her call goes unanswered. Her contact photo stares up at me, that practiced smile taunting me with its false warmth, the same one she's wielded like a weapon for years. I let it ring, my fingers trembling as they hover over the desk littered with scattered bills, physical remnants of their endless emergencies. The video's laughter still echoes in my skull, a cruel refrain that won't fade, and I grab a pen, the cold metal grounding me as I scrawl across a notepad. I will not be manipulated anymore. The words look foreign on the page, jagged and unsteady, yet they spark something deep in my chest, a flicker of freedom beneath the weight of betrayal. Memories flood in, each one darker than the last, painting a picture I've been too loyal to see. Diane's urgent calls about overdue bills, her voice trembling just enough to hook me into wiring thousands. Mark showing up at my workplace, his broad frame casting a shadow as he demanded help with the mortgage, shaming me into compliance. Tyler's crises, car trouble, rent, that emergency last week. Each one a plea. I answered with my savings, no questions asked, because family comes first. My chest tightens until each breath feels like swallowing glass. The armchair's soft fabric beneath me suddenly wrong. Too normal for a moment that's shattering everything I thought I knew. I've spent years proving my worth, working overtime for roof repairs, canceling vacations for Tyler's lies, putting my dreams on hold to be the good daughter they mocked in that video. The phone buzzes again. Tyler this time, a text preview glowing. Sis, I need help with... I set it face down, the familiar guilt rising like bile, but a question cuts through it, sharp and unyielding. Who am I without their demands? The apartment darkens around me, shadows swallowing the edges of the room, and I realize I don't have an answer. Not yet. But as Diane's missed call fades to a notification, the silence feels less like a void and more like a space I might finally claim. The night drags on, heavy with the weight of that unanswered question, until my phone vibrates again. Not Tyler, but Emily this time. Her text glows in the dark. Hey, you've seemed off. Coffee now? I hesitate, fingers brushing the screen, then type a quick, yes, usual spot. The promise of her steady presence pulls me from the spiral, and I grab my coat. The cool leather a lifeline as I step into the crisp March air. At the daily grind, the familiar scent of coffee and pastries wraps around me like a worn sweater, grounding me as I slide into our corner booth. Emily's already there, her warm brown eyes searching mine, and David, my old grad school mentor, approaches with 3 steaming mugs, his steady gait a quiet reassurance. I hope you don't mind, Emily says, sliding a mug toward me. I asked David to join. We're worried, Amelia. The coffee's warmth seeps into my palms, steadying my hands as I sip, the bitter tang cutting through the fog in my mind. David sets his mug down, fixing me with that calm, unwavering gaze that got me through my thesis years ago. Your father came by my office yesterday, he says quietly, making some interesting claims about your mental state. The words hit like a slap, Mark's tactics sinking lower than I'd imagined. But I think of the video, their laughter, and the anger burns away the shock, a hot flame in my veins. They're escalating, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. because they're losing control. Emily squeezes my hand across the table, her touch an anchor, and I pull out my laptop. The screen's glow revealing an email chain I'd found buried in my inbox. Dates, plans, scripted crises. Diane, Mark, and Tyler coordinating their attacks, timing each guilt trip to catch me at my weakest. This isn't just about money, I murmur, the truth crystallizing in black and white. It's about power, David nods, pulling out a business card. I have a friend who specializes in financial abuse cases. Call if you need backup. I take it, the card's sharp edges pressing into my fingers, a promise of options I've never dared consider. Diane's voicemail pings through as I pocket the card, her voice sharp and cold. Without your money, this family falls apart. Is that what you want? The familiar guilt rises, but David's words echo over it. Setting boundaries isn't betrayal. I delete the message mid-sentence, the click of the trash icon a small rebellion, and Emily smiles, a flicker of pride in her eyes. The cafe hums around us, a bubble of normalcy amid the storm, and for the first time, I feel the weight shifting, not gone, but bearable, with allies at my side. The next day, the office buzzes with its usual rhythm until Diane's voice cuts through, sharp and precise as a surgeon's blade. How dare you ignore my calls, she snaps, storming past the receptionist, her heels clicking across the open floor plan like gunfire. I grip my coffee mug tighter, willing my hands not to shake as heads turn, curious glances darting my way. Mom, I'm at work, I say, the words steadier than I feel. But behind me, Sarah from accounting pauses her typing, her chair creaking. Oh, so now you're too important to help your family? Diane's laugh crackles, the same calculated edge I heard in the video, and heat creeps up my neck. What happened to being grateful for everything we've done for you? My supervisor, Tom, emerges from his office, eyebrows rising at the commotion, and I fumble to switch off the speakerphone she's somehow activated, but the damage is done. Her voice has already painted me as the ungrateful daughter for all to hear. Later that evening, I slide into a corner booth at Rossi's restaurant, the white tablecloths and clinking wine glasses a stark contrast to the bruise still throbbing on my reputation. It's Uncle Tom's birthday, and I'd hoped to stay invisible, but Mark's voice carries across the room, loud enough to ensure every relative hears. Some people, he announces, swirling his third glass of Cabernet, think they're too good for family once they get a fancy office job. His eyes fix on me, lips curling into a smirk. Isn't that right, Amelia? The accusation stings, a fresh wound, but something else rises in my chest, a familiar pressure building like steam in a kettle. I watch him take another self-satisfied sip, his broad frame looming over the table, and suddenly I'm tired. Tired of being their punching bag, their endless well. I set my fork down, the clatter against fine china, slicing through the chatter, and meet his gaze. Actually, Dad, I say, my voice clear and sharp, I think it's more that some people view family as an ATM rather than actual relatives. The room falls silent, a collective intake of breath as Mark chokes mid-sip, wine splattering his shirt. Aunt Linda's eyes widen across the table, her fork frozen halfway to her mouth. She knows exactly what I mean, the video burning a hole in my pocket, like a digital smoking gun. Uncle Tom coughs awkwardly, and the cousins shift in their seats. But I hold Mark's glare, the steam in my chest spilling over into defiance. Diane's hand tightens on her glass, her practiced smile faltering, and Tyler mutters something under his breath, his usual bravado absent. The moment stretches, taut as a wire, and I realize they're not used to me fighting back. Not publicly, not like this. The weight of their stares presses in, but for once, it doesn't crush me. It fuels me, a spark igniting in the ashes of their control. The bedroom is a cocoon of shadows as I sit cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by old photo albums and the glow of my laptop screen. The night presses in, thick and silent, but my hands are steady now, tracing the edges of a picture from my first job celebration. Me beaming, unaware that my starting bonus would vanish into Diane's credit card debt the next week. The video's laughter still lingers in my ears, but it's fainter, drowned by the click of keys as I list every payment on a new document. Documentation of financial exploitation. The title stares back at me, both terrifying and liberating, and I type faster. Each entry a brick in my wall of truth. January 2020, emergency roof repair, $8,400. February 2020, mom's overdue medical bills, $3,200. March 2020, Tyler's car trouble, $2,800. The numbers climb too quickly. A tally of years drained. $147,632. Nearly my entire life savings, siphoned away by their endless needs. I pause, my fingers hovering over the keyboard, and flip through another album. Christmas 2021, when I couldn't afford a vacation because of Mark's emergency, his broad frame grinning beside a tree I'd paid for. The memories shift, taking on a darker shade, and I uncover an email archive buried deep in my inbox. Loan documents for their house, my signature forged in Diane's hasty scrawl. My breath catches, the missing piece snapping into place. This isn't just exploitation, it's theft. I stand before the bathroom mirror, the woman staring back different somehow, shoulders straighter, jaw set with newfound resolve. I see a woman done being the scapegoat, I whisper to my reflection, the words steady and clear. The trembling uncertainty of yesterday fades, replaced by a purpose that hardens in my chest like steel. Erosion has shaped me, worn my edges to fit their mold, but it stops now. I reinforce myself with every documented lie, every dollar they stole. The laptop hums on the desk, a fortress of evidence, and I know this is only the beginning of breaking free. The community hall buzzes with murmurs as I stand before my extended family. The projectors hum, a steady pulse behind me on March 15th, 2025. Rows of chairs hold Aunt Linda, Uncle Tom, cousins, all watching as I click the remote, my voice carrying through the stunned silence. I've called this meeting to ensure complete transparency about our family's financial situation. The first slide glows on the screen, Diane's frantic texts about fictional emergencies, her words a masterclass in guilt. Your father and I could lose everything. I click again, and Mark's threatening emails appear, demanding money with a scowl I can still see looming over my desk. Your mother's crying because of you. Another click, and Tyler's manipulative pleas fill the space. Sis, I really need your help. It's an emergency. The evidence builds, each piece a thread unraveling their carefully woven lies, and I feel their power over me dissolving in the harsh light of truth. I press play on the video, and their laughter echoes through the hall, the same cruel sound that shattered me days ago. Diane's voice drips with satisfaction. She's so desperate to be the good daughter. Mark chuckles. Our little ATM. Tyler's smug addition. She didn't even ask what it was for. The room freezes, a collective gasp rippling through the crowd. Aunt Linda's hand flies to her mouth, her eyes wide with guilt. She knows this is her doing. The accidental send that sparked this reckoning. Uncle Tom stares at his shoes, and Cousin Rachel whispers something to her husband, his head shaking in disgust. Diane sits rigid in the front row, her practiced smile gone, while Mark's glare burns into me, his wine-flushed face paling. Tyler shrinks beside them, his cocky mask slipping as he fidgets with his phone, avoiding my gaze. I end the presentation, my voice a blade, cutting through years of manipulation. This is the family I've sacrificed everything for. No more. The crowd disperses, but the fallout ignites beyond these walls. Emily's text lights up my phone. She's posted our cafe clash online, her fierce defense of me spreading like wildfire. David follows, sharing my documented evidence with his professional network, and supporters pile on, their voices a shield wall of solidarity. Through the thin walls of the hall, I overhear Linda's voice, thick with emotion as she speaks into her phone. I can't believe what we've done to her, all these years. Her words trail off, a crack in her complicity, and I catch a glimpse of Tyler, alone, in the corner, shoulders slumped as he stares at his screen. For a moment, the arrogant facade slips, revealing something like regret, but he looks away when he notices me watching. The hall empties, leaving me with the projector's fading glow and a certainty settling in my bones. Their web is unraveling, and I'm the one pulling the strings now. The community center is a storm of clicking cameras and whirring lenses as I step up to the podium on March 19th, 2025. The USB drive heavy in my hand like a loaded gun. The weight of what I'm about to do settles on my shoulders, but it doesn't crush me. Not anymore. For years, I begin, my voice steady despite my racing heart. I believed family meant sacrificing everything, your savings, your dreams, your self-worth. Today, I'm showing you what that sacrifice really looked like. I plug in the drive, and the first bank statement flashes on the screen. Diane's urgent text about a mortgage payment she couldn't make, followed by a receipt for a luxury cruise she took instead. The crowd murmurs. A ripple of shock as I click to Mark's threatening email about Tyler's emergency car repairs. A car he sold for profit a week later, the transfer confirmation glowing in stark numbers. Each piece builds on the last, a damning mosaic of their greed unfolding before dozens of watchful eyes. I play the video last, their laughter booming through the silent room, Diane's smug satisfaction, Mark's drunken chuckle, Tyler's mocking tone landing with devastating clarity. Our little ATM. The screen goes dark, and the silence holds for one breath, two, before erupting into a chaos of flashes and shouted questions. My phone explodes with notifications as the story hits social media, the video going viral within hours, tearing down their carefully crafted image. Local news picks it up, then national networks, the wildfire spreading beyond my control. But I don't want it contained. I've lit the match, and their lies are the kindling. Back at home, I spread the evidence across my desk, bank statements, screenshots, recorded calls, a fortress of truth I've built brick by brick. The laptop glows with reactions, each supportive comment another layer between me and their manipulation, and I feel the weight lifting, not crushing me anymore, just the first real breath I've taken in years. Diane's latest voicemail pings through, her voice trembling with rage. How dare you air our private business like this? I delete it mid-sentence, but Tyler's face appears on the TV, standing at a podium with Diane hovering like a puppet master. Family isn't just about blood, he declares, his voice cracking with manufactured emotion. It's about sacrifice, responsibility. My sister's forgotten that. The words aim for my chest, but the guilt doesn't take root. Not this time. I think of their laughter, their calculated plans, and my spine straightens. The press conference has changed everything, and as the cameras fade, I know they're scrambling, their usual tactics useless in this harsh light. I've exposed the truth, and it's louder than their lies ever were. The community forum on financial abuse hums with tension, fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows over the packed room a week after the press conference. Diane, Mark, and Tyler sit in the front row, flanked by lawyers in crisp suits, their faces a gallery of forced composure. Diane's lips tight, Mark's jaw clenched, Tyler's eyes darting to the exit. I grip the microphone, its cool metal steadying me as I face the audience, their watchful eyes a silent jury. You've heard my family's version of events, I say, my voice carrying to every corner. About duty, obligation, the daughter who betrayed their trust. I pause, meeting Diane's glare, then Mark's, then Tyler's, each stare a fading echo of the control they once wielded. But obligation isn't love, I continue. Duty isn't family, and exposing abuse isn't betrayal. The words land like stones, and a slow applause begins, building into a wave that drowns out the rustle of their lawyer's papers. Diane's hand twitches, Mark shifts uncomfortably, and Tyler sinks lower in his seat. Their usual arsenal of guilt and threats lies useless under this scrutiny. Back in my apartment, the desk is a battlefield of evidence. Bank statements, screen shots, recorded calls spread out like a map of my liberation. I open a fresh document, the cursor blinking as I type, Legal Action Preparation, Phase 1. The familiar tension in my shoulders eases with each keystroke, outlining steps to protect myself. Restraining orders, fraud claims, consultations with David's specialist friend. This isn't just reaction anymore. It's strategy, a shield of my own making, forged from their lies. My phone buzzes with their latest volley, Diane's voicemail, shrill and accusing. "You've destroyed us, Amelia. Is that what you wanted?" I delete it. The trash icons click a quiet victory, but another notification breaks my focus. An email from an anonymous sender, subject line cryptic. The final piece is closer than you think. My heart pounds as I read the preview. Check the attic, 2018. The words hang in the air, a thread I can't yet pull, hinting at secrets still buried in their house. The one I've paid for, the one with my forged signature on its loans. I lean back, the chair creaking under me, and let the possibility settle. Whatever this is, it could shift everything again. But I'm not afraid. Not anymore. The trembling uncertainty of those first days after the video has faded, replaced by methodical purpose. The forum's applause still echoes in my mind, a chorus of support that bolsters me against their fading grip. Diane, Mark, and Tyler can scramble all they want. Their facade is ash, and I'm the one who lit the fire. The email glows on the screen, a question mark in my victory. But I close the laptop for now, ready to face it when the time comes. Dawn breaks over my apartment, soft light filtering through the blinds and painting stripes across the desk, now a fortress of evidence and resolve. I stand before the bathroom mirror, the woman staring back, a stranger yet familiar. Shoulders squared, eyes clear, no longer shadowed by their demands. I will not be manipulated anymore, I declare to my reflection, my voice steady and firm, a vow etched into the quiet. I will not be their ATM. The words hang in the air, solid as the hardwood beneath my feet, and I feel the pressure in my chest transform. Not quite peace, not quite triumph, but perhaps the first real breath I've taken in years. The phone sits silent on the counter, no buzzes of guilt or pleas, piercing the stillness. And I let it stay that way, a boundary I've finally drawn. I brew coffee, the rich scent rising like a promise, grounding me as I sip from my favorite mug, the one Emily gave me years ago, chipped but steady in my hands. The laptop hums to life, the cursor blinking on my legal document, steady as a heartbeat, but I don't open it yet. Instead, I gaze out the window, the city waking beyond the glass, and let my mind drift to that cryptic email. Check the attic, 2018. It's a whisper of something unfinished, a loose thread in the tapestry of their deceit. But I'm not rushing to unravel it. I've spent too long running on their timeline, reacting to their crises. Now, I move at my own pace. The coffee warms my throat, a quiet ritual of reclaiming myself, and I think of Emily's smile at the cafe, David's card in my wallet, anchors outside their toxic bubble. The silence wraps around me, no longer a void but a canvas, and a question rises, softer now. Who am I without them? I don't know the answer, not fully, but it doesn't scare me anymore. I set the mug down, the clink a small note of certainty, and whisper to the dawn, I'm ready to find out. The day stretches ahead, mine to shape, and for the first time, I feel the weight of their absence as a gift, a space to breathe, to become, steady as the cursor's pulse on the screen.